Hey YouTube family, what's up? Welcome to another video. If you are new to this channel, my name is EJ, and today I would like to tackle a topic that I think most of us artists and producers struggle with, and that is inspiration. Now, we all need ways to find inspiration in order to be creative. So today I'd like to share with you guys a few tips, things that I personally do as well, and ideas that might give you some insight as to how you can find inspiration to enable you to create great music. And if you haven't had a chance to hit that subscribe button, please go on ahead and do so right now, and also the notification bell so that you know whenever I post new content on this channel. So without further ado guys, let's get right into the subject. Firstly, what exactly is inspiration? Now, according to the Merriam-Webster English Dictionary, inspiration has many different definitions, but the one that really stood out to me was that it is also the act of breathing in. Now, I found this really interesting because think of it this way. Air is everywhere around us, right? Unless you find yourself in the vacuum of space, that is. But just as air is everywhere around us, so is inspiration. We just need a few tools to harness it. Remember, us as human beings have 5 basic senses that we know of, and of course, inspiration can be harnessed through all of those senses. So what are our basic 5 senses? It is seeing, hearing, touch, taste, and smell. Well, let me break it down for you guys even further, and let's start with the visual aspect of it. Color. Now, have you guys noticed that sometimes when you're watching a big BeatStars YouTube video that they have these LED lamps changing color in the background of their studio? Now, this might be because it looks really nice, but I bet there's a deeper reasoning for why they do this. I personally find that when I switch on my multicolored LED lamp in my studio, that I am immediately in the right mind space and mood to sit down and create. But there is actually something called color psychology. And color psychology is widely used in healing therapy. It even plays a role in marketing and branding by companies. Even placebo therapy. Color psychology has actually played a huge role in our societies over the past 2 to 3 centuries. And if you'd like to find out more about color psychology, I'll just leave a link in the description box for you guys so you can check it out later. Now, this is a great example. If you're feeling stressed out, just go take a walk out in nature. It's filled with greens and blues that are usually psychologically associated with calm and with peace. And I personally find that if I go take a walk in nature, I feel less stressed out. And when I'm less stressed out, I can create better. Read. Now, you can read books, you can read internet articles, you can read magazines on subjects that you like, whether it's fictional or whether it's factual, it doesn't really matter. But what I found is when I read a lot, even a single word can be found so intriguing that a whole idea is sparked from it. Even a fictional story can trigger a memory that has a certain emotion attached to it that you can draw inspiration from. Watch. Now, you can watch a feature film, a movie, a documentary, YouTube videos, because sometimes you can find inspiration in what other people are doing as well. Or if it's fictional, a scene in a movie can potentially be so powerful in moving you emotionally that it can spark an idea that you can later turn into a musical composition. Now, let's move on to the audible aspect of finding inspiration. Listening to new music. Now, this one might seem really obvious to some people, but I promise you not everybody realizes the power of it. We as composers listen very differently to music as opposed to the average listener. We, in most cases, apply critical listening that is not even consciously anticipated when we're hearing a new song. So even though we are not consciously aware of it sometimes, our brains are actively listening and searching for interesting sounds and textures and arrangements, so that taking the time to actually listen to some brand new music before you hit the studio could mean the difference between beat block and that dope track you've been looking for. Now, it could potentially also put you in the right mood for that specific vibe that you wanted to create today. Environmental sounds. Try to also pay attention to environmental sounds like industrial sounds or the sounds of traffic, or the sounds of nature like the birds or other animals, for instance. For example, I sat in my studio one day creating a beat, and there was a bird outside and it had a call that I was completely unfamiliar with, and it fit perfectly in key and rhythmically with my beat. And even though I didn't actually have the time to sample the bird, it inspired me to create a really cool melody based on what the bird sang. So just be open to the sounds of the environment around you. It's also a good idea to purposely take a walk just to go hear what is out there that you might find interesting. And in the words of the great composer Quincy Jones, I learned early on why God gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth, because you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. Touch, smell, taste. Now I've shown you guys how you can harness inspiration through 2 major senses, but you can also do exactly the same thing in the same ways with your other 3 senses. Now let's move on to some other tips on how you can spark inspiration. Ditch fear. I've learned really early on that getting rid of fear and throwing yourself in the deep end is the best thing that you can do to spark inspiration. As a creative of any kind, but especially as a music producer, because we tend to work with so many different artists from different backgrounds, different ages, and they all have their own specific way of working and their own talents and their own strengths, that it is always a good idea for us to be open to trying new ideas. Being fearful that our ideas might be rejected is something that can diminish your confidence in trying to take that inspired idea to the next level. Fear really holds us back as producers, and believe me, I've been there. I know what it feels like. But I've found over the years that if you shut the door in the face of fear, it opens up your eyes to new ways of doing things, and that's always a good thing. And it will definitely make you more susceptible to being inspired. If it comes right down to it, and it means that you have to save up some money to travel to some far out country you've never been before in your life, to gain some new experiences, then by all means do that. Allow yourself to fill up your inspirational cup with a lot of different kinds of experiences that you can draw from later on when you need it. Because I found that if I travel for 2 weeks, I get so many different experiences from the culture where I've been that I've never seen before, I've never experienced before, that I have filled up my cup for the next 2 years. And that's really awesome. Be prepared. Now guys, it's not just a matter of being inspired, it's also a matter of being prepared for when that inspiration actually strikes. Realize that it can happen at any given moment, wherever you might find yourself. So you actually gotta expect that it will happen right this minute, yo. So try carrying with you a notebook, or use your phone's notepad or voice recorder function so that you can jot down ideas or record melodies on the fly. Because we all know if you wait till you get home, you've already got distracted and lost the idea. Now this next one is not always possible for everybody, but try to figure out which time of the day you are more prone to being inspired. Like for example, for myself, for a very long time, before I had my side hustle, it was usually from midnight to 2 to 3 o'clock in the morning, because I get less distracted that time of the day. So it's all about what actually works for you as an individual and for your individual situation. Now if you're also like me and you hear melodies in your dreams, or you have ideas upon waking up, just try to keep a notepad next to your bed, as well as maybe your cell phone with your voice recorder function on it, so that you can immediately capture the idea upon waking up. A track called Flight Over Many Cities, which was actually on my second album, Method in the Madness, was inspired by a dream. So just try to be prepared for whenever that inspiration strikes, even if it comes from a dream. So that's it from me. I trust that you found this video inspiring, no pun intended. And if you did, please give it a thumbs up and also hit the subscribe button as well as the bell notification so that you know whenever I post new content on my channel. And if you have any suggestions or comments or questions, you're very welcome to leave it in the comment section and I'll get back to you ASAP. So with that guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll peep you in the next.